not typically one to bring up gematria, that is Jewish numerology from the Bima. It can be a little abstract. It can be a little heady, but I felt that this group in particular, the Monday morning Shavuot group, the ones who made sure to be here, the ones who made sure to tune in, would be able to handle it. I think you will. And so there is one connection that I'd like to share with you this morning. It's been on my mind really all morning. It's based in gematria. It's based in Jewish numerology. The Hebrew word sulam, a ladder. You take the samech, you take the lamed, you take the mem, you add them up, 130. So too, the word Sinai. The name of the place we're celebrating this morning, the place from which we receive Torah. You can count it up. You can check my math if you'd like. Samech Yud, Nun Yud, 130 as well. Now I bring it up, this playful approach to words and numbers, ladders and Sinai, because here we are, and it is Shavuot, so of course the image of Har Sinai, the image of Mount Sinai, is foremost in our Torah reading, it's foremost on our minds, but you know the name Shavuot literally means weeks, because for weeks now, 7 weeks, we've been counting the Omer up to this moment, and in the imagination of our Torah, and I hope so too in our own lives, we've been counting toward this moment and climbing and reaching like a ladder the rungs of spiritual growth. The rungs toward Sinai. As the story goes, perhaps you know, from Pesach to Shavuot, in the span of a mere 49 days, our people transformed. We left Egypt. We were steeped in idolatry, in the consciousness of slavery. We left, we were as low down as you could be, low to the floor. And each and every day, our ancestors journeyed, our people journeyed, and we climbed 49 rungs on that ladder to Sinai, every day a day of transformation for them, until we arrived at Sinai today, on the 6th of Sivan, and they were ready. We were ready. There's a lesson to be found in this moment. Not just that story of our people, but in our personal stories too. It's that now that our count of the Omer has come to its conclusion, it's over. We counted the last day. Now that we've arrived at the base of Sinai, so to speak, ready to receive Torah, you know what our faith tells us? We have to know what our faith tells us, that as Jews, the climbing, that ladder, doesn't end here. It doesn't end here. That Sinai, a mountain, is like an arrow that points us up to the heavens, and it says to us, you're a Jew, you have to know every morning when you wake up what it means to strive, to climb, to live that life of reaching a little higher and holding on to the rungs of the ladder that you're on. You've arrived at some point in your life, your spiritual life, your moral life, your intellectual life. Well, then Torah asks us, can you grab the next rung? Can you reach up and grab the next? At any stage, at any age, anywhere, can you reach the next? It's true. Torah was given on the 6th of Sivan. That's what we're celebrating this morning. But the question that the Torah asks of us every single day is, can you receive me every day? Can you open yourself up to new wisdom, to reconsidering those positions that you hold so tightly every single day? We said it already this morning, friends. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam noten haTorah. Right? Blessed are you, God, who gives the Torah. It's in the present tense. It's in the present tense for a reason. And you know, we're blessed. I have to tell you how blessed we are. If there's been a single blessing that we as a people can point to through these very long months of pandemic, this year plus of pandemic that's weighing so heavily on all of us, as it has. And it's been challenging, it's been trying, it's been painful. I'm not minimizing that, but if there is a blessing that we as world Jewry can point to, it has been the absolute proliferation, the blossoming of access to Jewish learning, to Torah learning. This pandemic began, and immediately somehow the people of the book knew what it would mean to become the people of the MacBook. And we did it. Immediately, every Jewish institution, every synagogue, finding ways to connect people, however distant they might have been, to Torah. Every day, virtual trips to Israel, free classes. It's endless. My email inbox is endless with opportunities to learn. We have to know that's a blessing. Last night, the Rabbinical Assembly, the conservative movement, all night long you could have zoomed in with a rabbi from every single state in the country if you wanted to. You have to know what an opportunity that is. What a blessing that is, to be able to grow as a Jew so easily. There's a famous story in the Talmud about Rabbi Akiva. You know Rabbi Akiva. He wasn't always a sage, though. He wanted to learn. He wasn't allowed into the Beit Midrash, and in this story, he so desperately wanted to take Torah into his life that he climbed up, it says, to the roof of this Beit Midrash on a snowy evening in Yerushalayim so that he could place his ear down at the roof just to hear the words of Torah that were spoken because they wouldn't let him in. That's how deep his desire to learn about his heritage was. You don't have to leave your kitchen. You don't have to leave your couch to be inspired Jewishly. You, on your phone, on your tablet, from your couch, in your pocket, have access to every Jewish book ever written. Every bit of wisdom, every story, every bit of humor and history. We have bookshelves. Our ancestors would have given anything in our pockets. You've got to know what a privilege that is, and you have to be able to use it. Our generation, this moment in Jewish life, I really believe when it comes to Torah learning, when it comes to receiving Torah every single day, we are the most privileged generation of Jews in that way who've ever lived. We're the most privileged who've ever lived. It says in our Mishnah, make your home a meeting place for the sages. You can do that with the click of a button. You can hear the greatest voices in American Judaism in your home in ways that our ancestors never could have imagined. What a miracle that is. The months that they had to travel to get to a yeshiva. But more than that, I want everyone here to know, and certainly those who are listening in, that for us as a community, I want this building, I want our library, little by little, again, to come back to life and to be a meeting place for the sages as well. And when I say sages, I mean potential sages, all of you and me, all of us. So I'm going to be sending, and you'll hear more about this, weekly digest of all the many, many virtual learning opportunities that there are, and you'll see that and you'll just be amazed that there are hundreds of opportunities to learn Torah in a week from your computer. But beyond that too, I want us to know what it means to really be, like we were last night at our Tikkun, a community of learners. the ones who bring Torah into this building and wrestle with it. It says that when two people come together to learn Torah, it's as if God is there in that space between them. Well, I want this building to be alive with the sounds of Torah and with the presence of God in that way. And if you feel like your Hebrew's too rusty, or you're too busy, you don't have time to come and just pop in and give yourself that gift of Jewish learning, please ask yourself, if not today, then at some point, Ma Tov Helkenu, how good, how precious this heritage really is. I'll leave you with one last image. One last image. One of the strangest statements in all of rabbinic literature. It's in the Talmud. Rabbi Yossi ben Chalifta, asked by a stranger, a woman comes up to him and she says this, "What has God been doing since creation was finished?" God finished creation? We know God took a sabbatical? Now what? What's God been doing? And his answer, remarkable. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yoshev ve'oseh sulamot. That God has been busy now making ladders for people to go up and for people to go down. If you have days when you don't live up to your expectations, that you think you should be on that higher level as a person, as a Jew, you have days where you feel like you slipped down a few rungs on that ladder, fine. I say to you now, just stay on it. It's Shavuot. We've counted all these weeks to get to this moment. Don't turn back. My friends, this Torah that we just chanted from, it's a ladder. It is a ladder that is leaning against the most solid and beautiful foundation you could ever imagine, the foundation of thousands of years of wisdom, the foundation of the divine. It's not going anywhere. It's pointing us to the heavens and it's asking you, will you come? I know where I'm going. I'll ask you, will you come with me? Baruch atah Adonai Einu melech haolam noten haTorah. Praised are you, God, who gives us the Torah. Not today on Shavuot, but every single day. May our love for it grow, and may its wisdom and its strength help us to grow as a community, as individuals, in all the ways we know we must. Chag Sameach, everybody.